Battle 7, Super Mario Land versus Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Gamegear. This battle of red versus blue is special because it's the beginning of the portable console war between the two game giants. So Mario Land is from 1989 and Sonic 1 on Game Gear is from 1991. Since Sonic 1 came out only 2 years later, it makes it more than fair to compare both games. Right out the gate, graphically, Sonic kicks Mario's teeth in, so Sonic 1 on Game Gear has better graphics. But then there's everything else to compare. I love Super Mario Land. It takes place in Sarasha Land, or the Muda Kingdom, instead of the Mushroom Kingdom, and has you rescuing Princess Daisy instead of Peach, which is a breath of fresh air to introduce a different person that Mario is rescuing. As primitive as Mario Land looks, it's doing many new awesome ideas here, including a new bad guy, the purple alien known as Tatanka, and not Bowser. I frickin' love Tatanka, and I wish he would appear in new Mario titles. He is a super underrated Super Mario character. So, now, gameplay-wise, it's both Mario and Sonic doing their thing here. So, both games are great. Now let's discuss the music. Well, Sonic 1 for Game Gear has many very catchy tracks, including the classic addicting track, Bridge Zone, which stands out and has become a fan favorite among old-school Sonic fanatics. Another pretty good one is the Jungle Zone theme. Mario Land's soundtrack is no slouch either, with tracks like The Eastern Kingdom, which is the classic Egyptian theme. And a great track is the Cha Kingdom, which was also later reused in a remix. And the epic climactic battle between Tatanka is also a really good theme as well. So both games have great soundtracks, but I think Mario's is better here. I have to say, in terms of variety, Mario has a lot more going on this time. Mario even uses a plane and a submarine in this game. So despite the graphics being tiny as hell and the color not being as good, Super Mario Land is ultimately better than Sonic 1 on Game Gear. So despite how cool Sonic the Hedgehog is, sometimes you just can't beat Super Mario's charm. As the final score, I'll give Mario 5 points, and I'll give Sonic 3 points. Battle 8! Super Mario Land 2 versus Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for Sega Game Gear. This is a special kind of duel between Sega's cocky blue speedster and Nintendo's dashing badass adventurer, because both games have the number 2 in the title. Both games were released in 1992, and both games are on the Game Boy and the Game Gear. So I call this the Battle of 1992. As mentioned in previous videos on this Mario vs. Sonic saga, Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins, is amazing, and has a large hub map, different boss battles, etc. Sonic 2 on Game Gear is a decent Sonic game, and I feel it should have been a little better, but it does have very colorful and interesting worlds. For the Game Gear's color power against the spinach green colors of Nintendo's Game Boy. But there are ways to get color out of Mario Land 2. I will give Sonic 2 on Game Gear a compliment here, that it's a much faster game than Mario's game here. Mario Land 2 is very slow as a game. It has greatness in its slowness, but even still, playing Sonic here is cool, and shows off his extreme attitude compared to Mario's typical modest gameplay pace. Well, for my final result, I gotta say that Sonic 2 on Game Gear is a pretty good game, but Mario Land 2 is a great game. And once again, the Mustache Man foils Sonic's plans in this competition. I'll give Mario 4 points, and Sonic 2 points. Battle 9, Mario's PICROSS versus Sonic Labyrinth. This battle, no doubt, will leave most of you scratching your heads. But I'm comparing Mario's PICROSS to Sonic's Labyrinth because they are both the experimental Mario and Sonic title on the go for their respectable portable game systems. Both games also have a pretty poor reception from fans. Despite the fact that they are completely different games, for some reason I feel that spiritually they're kinda the same, because it was Nintendo and Sega saying that they didn't care how bad or good the game is. Just put Mario and Sonic in it and it will sell. It's a rare instance where Mario and Sonic's great video game reputations were compromised. Even though, in my opinion, both these games are pretty good. Mario's PICROSS is a puzzle game that was popular in Japan, and people in the West are very unfamiliar with it. But for what it is, it does seem like a decent little game, but it also looks hard as hell. Sonic Labyrinth, on the other hand, is a much better game, with a lot of color and an interesting gameplay choice that is definitely workable, but probably could have been handled better. But I'm not against it. This game is kinda like Sonic Spinball, in that Sonic can still run around a little bit, but most of the time he'll be in his ball form and used like a ping pong ball or pinball. I actually really like Sonic Labyrinth, and I think it gets an unfair rap, so Sonic is clearly the winner here, by far. And even though it seems unfair to compare these two games, I did give excellent reasons to compare them both. I give Sonic 6 points, and I'll give Mario 2 points. Battle 10, Super Mario World versus Sonic the Hedgehog 2. This battle may seem a little silly, because in Part 1, we already put Mario World against Sonic 1, and Mario won. But what about Sonic 2? Certainly, we can compare it to Mario World. It was released only 1 year after Mario World came out, so it's definitely more than fair. Now, even to this day, Sonic 2 is praised as one of the crown jewels of the Sonic series. And it makes sense. Sonic 2 was a game that more people played than Sonic 1, and it introduced Sonic's sidekick, Miles, or Tails, if you prefer. Let's talk color. Well, Sonic 2 is extremely colorful, one of the most Crayola-colored games of the 16-bit era, and its color is better than Mario World. So once again, Mario World has this amazing map and more variety of boss battles, and Sonic still doesn't got that over the mustache boy. But you can tell from the gameplay here how much faster Sonic is than how fast he is in Sonic 1. This is where Sonic 2 has a little bit of an edge over Mario. Mario World is slow, but its gameplay requires a lot of precision. But Sonic 2, on the other hand, feels like a rush to play. It's Sonic going extreme over Mario's ass. But Mario's gameplay here is still amazing in its own way. So, in this outing, Sonic does have more levels, but Mario World still has more. Now for the soundtracks. I think Sonic 2 beats it. The tracks in Mario World are pretty good and are memorable, but Sonic 2's music feels more polished and catchy too. So Sonic 2 hits another home run. Now, for the results. I'd say that Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is better than Super Mario World, but only by a little bit. Mario World is so badass, and despite Sonic's edge, it doesn't take away from the awesomeness that is Mario. I'll give Mario 4 points and Sonic 5 points.